Austin Hodge.
And this is Cougar News Now. 17 years ago, 4 different planes came crashing down into 4 different parts of America, killing over 2,000 people. This event has went down in history under the unforgettable name, September 11th.
September 11th has changed our nation greatly and forced our citizens to think of preventative measures so this will never happen again.
At 7:59 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 with 92 people aboard takes off from Boston's Logan International Airport en route of Los Angeles. 8:14 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 with 65 people aboard takes off from Boston. It is also heading towards Los Angeles. 8:19 a.m., flight attendants aboard Flight 11 alert ground personnel that the plane has been hijacked.
Listening in the back, the cockpit's not answering. Somebody's stabbed in business class. And I think there's mates that we can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked.
8:20 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 takes off from Dulles International Airport and is heading to Los Angeles with 64 people aboard. 8:42 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 with 44 people aboard takes off from Newark International Airport en route to San Francisco. 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashes into floors 93 to 99 of the North Tower. 9:03 a.m., United Airlines 175 crashes into floors 75 to 85 of the South Tower. .37 a.m., Flight 77 crashes into the western facade of the Pentagon. 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapses.
As close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center, you can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the 2 towers. A huge explosion now raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way!
10:03 a.m., passengers and crew of Flight 93 find out about the attacks in New York and Washington, so they try and retake the plane, but the hijackers crash the plane into a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania.
I just saw the smoke come up, and the explosion shook the house clear over here. They ran one into the Pentagon and into the World Trade Center, and we're watching it on TV, and this one happened.
10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapses. 8:30 p.m., President Bush addresses the nation, calling the attacks evil, despicable acts of terror.
Very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve. America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining.
September 11th has went down as America's greatest tragedy, but we've come back stronger and ready to retaliate for the next possible disaster to occur.
On September 11, 2001, our nation suffered a great loss as 2 American flights were hijacked by the members of the Islamic terrorist group and flown into the 2 World Trade Centers in New York City. As we remember today, we have decided to ask students and staff about what we could do to prevent another 9/11 attack from happening.
I guess just getting along with other countries.
I believe that we can prevent, or I'm not sure prevent is the right word. We can slow, we can, I'm just not sure prevent is the right word. But I believe we can address this problem by being more understanding of other cultures. We have to respect their differences and not try and make everybody conform to American ideals. And just be more open-minded to everyone so that they don't see us as enemies or bullies, but rather friends and equals.
I'm not sure we can prevent an attack because of how humans are naturally. Some people are very loving and some people are full of hatred. To prevent attacks would be to judge someone for an action that they haven't made yet. So I think the best thing we can do is to be cautious and to be on the lookout. You know, like we have airline marshals who make sure that no attacks happen in the air, that no planes are hijacked again, and a lot of screening processes at the airport. And since 9/11 has occurred, I don't think that any planes have been hijacked and used to a great terrorist effect.
My personal opinion, I don't think so, but
It would be, I certainly wish there was never another attack like this. Unfortunately, if you look at American history, this isn't the first time that America has been attacked. What comes to mind for me would be Pearl Harbor. And so with that in mind, I think sadly, this September 11th will not be the last time America has had a terrorist attack, though I sincerely hope it is.
I believe that people will always try to endanger other people's lives for a variety of what I consider very silly reasons or very trivial reasons. Who's to say if there will be another attack where thousands of lives will be lost because of a few actions of just a few people, but I think that people will always be dangerous. Like there will always be some people in the world who want to cause harm to others.
because people don't know how to communicate.
I believe that attacks like this happen because there are just extremists and they are very passionate about what it is that they believe, which is sad and terrifying. And when you have someone that believes passionately in what they're doing or their beliefs, they unfortunately act on that.
I would go along on what I just said. I think there are some people who view that their opinions matter more, or that their causes are more just than others, or they simply don't care about the lives of others.
No, but my grandpa was actually born on 9/11, so.
Well, I distinctly remember September 11th. I actually had a friend from Australia that was going to New York. He was actually in New York when it happened. He went up on the World Trade Center the day before, on September 10th. And I knew he was around there then, and that was before there was Facebook. So there were a few days where I was just left questioning. So I distinctly remember September 11th and walking on my college campus, and there were TVs everywhere, and there were people crying, and it was terrible. I do remember the Oklahoma City bombing as well. That was a domestic terrorist, but I was in middle school, I think. When that happened, I remember as a child thinking how terrible it was. Those are the only attacks that I know.
So 9/11 actually occurred when I was in 5th grade, and I still remember it. Not in great detail, but I still remember it was a very horrific event. It shook a lot of people, pretty much everyone that I knew.
I think it sucks that we lost a lot of people, but I don't know any of them, obviously, but my grandpa was born in it, so that's my only attachment to it.
It was a terrible, terrible event that we should never forget. Those people deserve to be remembered, not just for their deaths, but for the lives that they lived and the things that have happened as a result.
I think that it was an attack by a few people created by an organization that doesn't really like people, that especially has a problem with America. You know, their message is very anti-Western organizations. But I think that the people, like, they've been judged. They lost their lives in their attack. And we can't judge everyone who prescribes to something similar. Guilty by association is no way to live. We can't say that other people of the same religion have the same harbored hatred in their hearts. They may be very loving people.
I don't know. I guess they should be punished in some sort of way. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's been a couple years since then, so.
I think that they need to be questioned on how they were able to accomplish this so that we can prevent it.
If they were to survive them, my immediate reaction would probably be to say capital punishment equals capital crime equals capital punishment. They should lose their lives. Maybe it should just be that they're imprisoned forever, but certainly there should be no recourse where they're allowed to carry out another crime like it. So, in some way they should be dealt with, either in prison forever or otherwise.